Welcome back to another weekly recap. I'm Brie E Anderson, and this week we're going to talk about some new developments on Snapchat side, also new developments on Facebook side. Then we're going to get into some changes that have been made to Google My Business again. And lastly, we're going to go and visit TigerKing. First things first, I want to talk about this latest Snapchat update. So they rolled out this week that they are, in fact, opening up their API to developers to allow apps to use Snapchat stories within their apps. The idea is that you could post stories to either Snapchat or this partner app. Right now, I know that they have 4 already up and going. Those 4 are Triller, Octi, Squad, and Hilly. All of which sound crazy, but they are definitely app names. Triller is a music streaming platform. Octi is an AR platform. Squad is a video platform. And Hilly is actually a dating platform. So they have a pretty wide array of apps that they've partnered with already. And like I said, the idea is that you could post, you can cross-post these stories. Obviously, Snapchat is looking to gain exposure. They actually reported that this month alone, their usage has gone up 50%. Specifically, people doing video calls. Most platforms have seen this. Actually, Facebook reported the same thing. Obviously, we know Zoom calls are through the roof. But they are looking to gain more exposure, probably because they are seeing more competition these days. Apps like TikTok, where people are doing this short form content that is very similar to story content for Snapchat. So they are starting to do more of these partnerships. Like I said, the API is now open and they are allowing more and more people to do this. They said that they were going to open this up last year, but I think with all of the new developments in the world that they have opened this up sooner just because more and more people are creating content right now. More and more people are spending time on apps. I think they said that the time on apps has risen like 20% in the last month. So a lot of people are making pivots based on the current times. I think this is a really smart pivot for Snapchat. Like I said, they do have a lot more competitors now. And this disappearing content can really build up a lot of hype. I think it's kind of interesting, the 4 people that they're already in partnership with. I do know that they're in talks with Tinder and House Party as well. Rumor had it that they were going to be the first ones to roll it out, but for some reason that's still on the table and never really got pushed through. I could see how both of those though would be good partnerships. So instead of Tinder and House Party, they have Squad and Hilly. That is the video call platform, which is Squad, and then Hilly, which is the dating platform. So that in my eyes is a really good, that's a really good match because you are experiencing things in real time with people that you want to capture, and maybe, they're not very relevant for more than 24 hours. Let's say you go on a first date. That's going to be exciting for a couple days. Ideally, you would be going on another date within a few days. So I definitely see how those are beneficial partnerships. Triller is also a really good one. So we saw a couple weeks ago, maybe even over a month ago, that Spotify released stories for some of their influencers. Well, Triller is using Snapchat stories for some of their artists. So this would be really cool for things like people that go and do acoustic performances, or they go do live performances. I know Spotify does like their Spotify singles. So Triller can now use kind of those tactics with a twist and allow artists to do stories and kind of build the hype around this new release that they've got coming out. So that's really cool. I'm really excited about seeing how Snapchat continues to innovate. Like I said, they are definitely a technology company. They said in 2018 that they are a camera company. Not so sure that I would focus on them straight for cameras, but definitely a technology company, and I'm excited to see what partnerships come next. If you are a business that is interested in using this in your app, definitely check out SnapKit. Like I said, they're starting to roll this out all worldwide, so make sure you go and look at that, especially if you have content that is really good for stories. If you're using a lot of Facebook stories, Instagram stories, and even Snapchat stories, the thing is, people don't have to post these stories on Snapchat. They kind of get the option if they take the story in app. So let's say you are a clothing brand, right? If they take a Snap story, or if they take a story in your clothing brand app, maybe of them trying something on or doing like a little runway, what have you, right? They get the option to either post to the app story or the Snapchat, or both. So again, it's kind of a really cool catch-all integration. So like I said, very exciting. If you're interested, go check out SnapKit and see what that process is. So while we're on the topic of new releases, Facebook had a ton of releases this week. The most notable probably being that they rolled out Messenger on Messenger desktop apps for both Windows and Apple products. So what this does is it allows you to use your desktop to do video calls. Very specifically, that's why they rolled it out. This was kind of like a perfect storm. Everybody's doing video calls right now. Desktop usage is through the roof because people are working from home. And Zoom just had a bunch of issues, security issues that made national news. The FBI put out a warning, all of that jazz. So Facebook responded by putting Messenger out on desktop. And again, this is one of those things where they had kind of tabled this. They were going to do it eventually, and it just sped up because it was, like I said, a perfect storm. And so again, what it does is it allows you to, for free, have video calls with multiple of your Facebook friends. It's kind of cool. Brian Fanzo talked about it on his live on Friday. And how he has, a Facebook portal, and now you can use that Messenger app. He was already able to use Messenger through there and do video calls. But he had a really unique perspective. I definitely suggest that you go check out his perspective on that. But yes, Facebook Messenger did roll out to desktop computers. So let's see if we see more people using Facebook video calls. I know Zoom backgrounds have been a big deal right now, so I don't know if maybe the backgrounds will keep people on Zoom. Another feature that they rolled out specifically for businesses is the availability to sell gift cards. If you want to sell gift cards on Facebook, and they're making a whole gift card directory where people can search for local businesses that they can buy gift cards from. Facebook is actively working on that. Right now you can go and apply to sell gift cards through Facebook. I'll put the link in the description below. So you apply for it, and then it shows on your Facebook page, and it also shows up in Facebook search that you are selling gift cards during this time. Another change that they made for Facebook pages, specifically business pages, is if you go to your hours section, there is a temporary service section where now you can put if you're temporarily closed, but you can also put things like delivery only, curbside pickup, online only. So they're allowing you to make those changes, obviously temporarily, and they're doing this clearly in lieu of all of the COVID-19 things and how businesses are kind of having to pivot right now. So if you are a business and you have closed your doors and you don't want people to show up expecting to get service, then definitely go into your Facebook page and mark that you are either not doing service, you're doing curbside, online only, etc., etc. This is really important. Google allows you to do the same thing. I'll be talking about that in a second, but you want to make sure that your listings across the board match. So please, if you are temporarily closing or you're shifting to online only or something of that nature, please go into your Facebook page and make those changes. Again, it's under your hours section and allows you to pick temporary service changes. The last update I want to share from Facebook is the fact that they just released Live Publisher, which helps you with your Facebook Lives. So a lot of people use Restream, Ecamm, or StreamYard to do their live videos, and generally the reason they do that is because they are going live on multiple platforms. But it also allows you to do things like moderate your comments, bring your comments onto your screen, use graphics, things of that nature, right? It looks a lot more professional. It looks very similar to what you would see if you were watching the news or something of that nature. Facebook released Live Publisher, which allows you to use graphics. It allows you to moderate comments and put, if you want, slow commenting, which allows people to only comment every 10 seconds. It allows you to select the people that can comment, just a whole array of things when it comes to moderation. And it also allows you to do clips. So if you want to clip the last 60 seconds and then share it out, or like the last 60 seconds of video you just did as you're hosting your live, you can clip it and share it out. If you want to make specific clips after the live, it allows you to do that in the publisher. And it also has a whole production dashboard. Again, I think this is really cool. It's also one of those things where they're responding in the moment to the needs of their users. They've seen live numbers go through the roof, about 50% more views every day of live content and more people going live. So they are responding to that by offering these tools instead of people using third parties to stream onto Facebook. Now, if you're only streaming to Facebook, this is a really good idea. However, like I said, I know especially industry professionals, they're streaming to multiple platforms, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook all at the same time. But if you're only going to go live on Facebook or you just want to test it out, it is called Live Publisher. So you can find that from your Facebook page. Moving away from social media and talking about Google. Google has been making a lot of changes right now, specifically to Google My Business listings, just because, again, businesses are being hit really hard with the whole COVID-19 situation. So a couple weeks ago, I told you guys that Google had paused all Google posts. So you weren't able to use Google Posts anymore. They have since redacted that and they are now allowing people to use posts again. And specifically, they've created a COVID-19 post that allows you to make an announcement as to how your business is handling COVID-19. They've also assured businesses that if they do mark their business as temporarily closed, that they will not be affected SEO wise. You're still going to have all of the same rankings, Google juice, whatever you want to call it, that you had before you temporarily closed your business. Clearly, this is an unprecedented situation. And so Google recognizes that and they're saying that they're not going to penalize you for marking your business temporarily closed. That being said, remember, when it comes to local SEO, Google is looking at your citations and expects them to be the same across the board. Now, this may not hurt you. I do understand, again, these are unprecedented times. However, Google is so picky about local listings that if you have a period in the wrong place or you use street period or ST period on one listing and then you have it as street without a period on another listing, that they are counting that against you. So when it comes to marking your business temporarily closed, now that you can do it on Google and you can do it on Facebook, if you are temporarily closed, make sure that both of those listings are similar or the exact same. Because like I said, Google does look for that in the in an everyday basis. Again, not sure if it's going to affect you with all of this going on, but just in case it does, please take the time to ensure that what you have on Google matches what you have on Facebook, matches what you have on Yelp, especially if you're just changing your store hours. You have to go in and you have to change that on all of your listings. That is very, very important from a local SEO perspective. All right, let's talk about everyone's favorite binge-worthy Netflix series right now, The TigerKing. If you've watched TigerKing, you know that it is a mess of a show, mess of a docuseries, but it is very addicting. It's a train wreck you cannot look away from. And with that being said, if you're an SEO nerd or you're just a marketing nerd in general, you probably heard Doc say that Joe changed the name of the GW Zoo to Big Cat Rescue Entertainment as he was putting on shows at malls and things of that nature. And specifically, he did that for the reason of showing up on Google rankings and to show up hopefully above Carole Baskin's Big Cat Rescue, or at least in the same amount of search queries as Big Cat Rescue. Let me tell you, for a interesting character, this was pretty smart on his point. But let me tell you, that is definitely what we call black hat SEO. You do not need to do that. So he changed the name of his zoo to the exact name of his biggest competitor, and then just added an entertainment at the end. And at the end of all of this, he did get slapped with $1 million fine from Carole Baskin, which is part of the reason why he is in jail now. As crazy as that situation was, and there's so much more going on there, I will tell you, if you were to do this in real life, okay, you are a business and you start taking other people's business names and manipulating them a little bit to show up where they're showing up on Google, Google will blacklist you from the search results, and you will lose all of your organic rankings. This happens actually a lot more than just people that are fighting over tiger rescues or tiger zoos. This happens all of the time. Google My Business listings spam is a very real thing. And people do use it to get more traffic that their competitors are getting, just by stuffing the names with keywords. They do it by using other people's business names or something similar to that, using fake names, fake addresses, all of those things. That happens all of the time. And it really does affect local businesses. It's just really funny that it did come up in TigerKing and that it was such a big deal. But the fact that all of the zookeepers talked about it specifically being a way to manipulate Google, it's pretty funny. But just remember, if you are ever doing anything to intentionally trick Google, that is probably what we would call black hat SEO, and Google will figure it out and you will get in trouble, especially if you do it. They come to you and they say, fix this, and you don't fix it. That's when you start to get blacklisted from results. Now, if you do it maybe once, you have like one listing, Google might come to you and say, hey, we're taking this listing down. You can't do that. And you fix it like immediately. They may not blacklist you right away, but if you do it multiple times or you don't listen when they tell you to stop, you will be blacklisted and you will no longer get organic traffic. So don't be Joe. Don't do that. Just work on your own SEO, guys, and make content that's worth ranking. That's all I've got for this week, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another weekly recap. I'll see you next Sunday at 7 p.m.